Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schultze. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you my recipe and technique for making my Panna Cotta. This was a request from my mother-in-law. Here you are, Anya. So, the Panna Cotta is an Italian dessert. It's a custard, and probably the closest comparable dessert would be a flan. However, there are some differences with it. The major difference would be a flan is stabilized by using egg yolks and cooking the egg, like much like many traditional custards. However, the Panna Cotta is stabilized by using gelatin. The great thing with the flan is that because it's stabilized with an egg, you can serve it hot or cold. The Panna Cotta must be served cold. Because as you would heat it, the gelatin would liquefy and just bleed out all over the plate. So join me now and let me show you how easy this is to make, and literally you can have this done and serve it in a couple of hours. Well, the first thing I like to do is take a small sauce pot with 4 cups of heavy cream and bring it to a simmer. As it begins to heat up, the first thing you're going to want to do is bloom the gelatin. This is probably the most important step of this, because if you don't bloom the gelatin, the chances of you having a nice smooth velvety texture, is really tough. So by blooming it, we have 1 tablespoon of gelatin powder, 3 tablespoons of water, and then you just gently sprinkle it across it. And as you see it, it's dissolving. I'll mix it around a bit just to get a little water on it around. And slowly add it in. So now we'll let this sit off to the side while our cream comes to a simmer. Well, now my heavy cream is starting to heat up. It's probably about 110, 115 degrees. So now I want to add 3/4 cup of white granulated sugar. Stir this around. The reason I let it heat up a little bit is because I like it to dissolve a little faster. It's completely up to you whether you put it in while it's cold or not. Doesn't matter. So we'll stir this around a little bit, and then I will add about a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. If you don't have the paste, not to worry. Vanilla extract will work, or scrape a vanilla bean. And stir that around, and we'll continue our mission of bringing it to a simmer. Now our cream, vanilla, and sugar mixture is coming up to temp, and our gelatin is now bloomed. We'll go ahead and add our gelatin to the liquid. Now it comes out. So now, once that's in there, I will turn down the heat to low, medium, and then gently stir, moving the gelatin around, and just continue to stir this until the gelatin dissolves completely. Now our gelatin has dissolved. Let's go ahead and pour this through a strainer into some sort of pitcher, or a nice measuring cup if it's large enough. Now we got this, we're now going to pour it into our molds. Well, now that we have it cooked and strained, now what we like to do is pour it into our molds. So I will gently pour it into soufflés, coffee cup, whatever you want, doesn't really matter. And then once we get them to our portion that we want, we're going to transfer them into the refrigerator. And on these smaller ones, like here, the squares, these will actually be chilled enough to serve in probably about 2 hours or so, maybe 3 at the most. Now, if you notice, I didn't go quite to the top with it. The reason is I go most of the way, and then once I get to the refrigerator or closer to the refrigerator, I will then set it on the shelf, pour the remaining to the top, and gently slide it to the back, so just so we don't lose any down the sides. And we will continue doing this with the remaining dishes and liquid. Well, here we have our panna cotta. This had been setting in the refrigerator for right around 3 hours, and it's plenty solid. A couple ways I will serve. One is in a souffle or in a dish, and just serve it out of this. Garnish the top with berries or whatever, doesn't matter. Anything you choose. Put it out that way. Or another way I like to do, I have a little more fun with it. It kind of makes a little more of an elevated presentation. Is I'll actually remove it from the mold. So I have a little bit of hot water. I'll set it in there, and then take the tip of the knife, dip it into the hot water, and just run it around the edge of the dish. Get it off, wipe the excess water off, and then just turn it up over on a dish. And there we have our panna cotta. Now, garnishing it any way that you like. I tend to keep it seasonal. Summertime I will use fresh berries from the garden. We have strawberries, blueberries, and red currant. So in the fall time, I will do variation where this will be a cinnamon panna cotta with an apple relish and candied sage. Winter time, I tend to go citrusy, maybe an orange panna cotta with a grapefruit soup, yuzu panna cotta with, a citrus relish. It really is endless on the combinations of which you could do. Below, I will have the recipes and variations as well. Feel free to leave some comments and any questions or requests. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And Anya, you had